This lesson is going to be a simple palm tree on the beach. First thing I'm going to do is take two different colors of blue. I'm going to choose pool here, and I'm going to choose a little bit of sailboat blue. And what I want to do is make a fairly light sky. I'm going to do that by gently just blending the colors together. And I'm not going to do a lot of this pouncing. I'm just going to let them blend. Okay, and I'm going to let them become. See how it just keeps on gently evening out? I can see I want to do it one more time though. I'm going to pull it, making it a little lighter, I'm hoping. Okay, so now I'm going to let that be my sky and let it dry. The second thing that I'm going to do is I can do this two ways. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with a brush. And what I want to do is I want to brush on two different colors. I'm going to try the sailboat blue again, and I think I'll try some turquoise. And I'm going to hold the tile sideways. And what I want to do is I want to gently brush in some color to establish the water. Now what you'll see is I'm going below the line that I'm hoping that was going to develop for the sky, because I don't want to go too far up into the sky. And here I'm just pulling these colors back and forth. Now I'm going to go into the turquoise, and I'm going to add some of that. And then I'm going to go into the turquoise again, but with a little more alcohol in it, and add that. And as I gently go back and forth, hopefully this will give the impression of the ocean. You don't want to go too much, because then what happens is you end up going, it dries, and if it dries, then you end up with you can end up back with white, and you really don't want to go back to white, which is what I just did there, because I did too much. Tiles dry much faster than water, than paper. So your timing on your tiles is a little different than it is on the paper. So here I go, I've got some water happening here. I'm kind of liking it. It's interesting how the okay, that's my beach. Now the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to end up with some sand. And putting the sand, I'm going to hold the tile toward me, and I'm going to put, this is periwinkle, cool peri. And that's some sandal. I'm gonna, again, after I clean out my brush, I'm going to let these colors just kind of become together here to hopefully end up with an interesting beach color and come on right up against where my water is. Like okay, so here I've got some ocean, I've got some beach, I've got the sky. I want to end up just kind of making this a little darker over here. What you'll see is I tend to go all the way across the piece, because when I stop in the middle, it ends up blooming problematically, I would say. And here I'm going to just do just a little bit on the shore, kind of. Okay, so now I've got my background done, and at this point I'm going to want to put a palm tree in. With the palm trees, I always talk about it's a gesture. It's a gesture. When I make the palm trees, I start from a center and I kind of sculpt all of the fronds. The first thing I do is I put a color in. This one I'm going to use, I think this is limeade. I may also use a bit of citrus, but I'm going to start out with the limeade. And since it's going to be going over the blue, it's going to pick up some of the blue, so you want your colors to be more on the yellow side. The other thing is I want to take as much alcohol out of this as I can. So I don't know if you can see, I'm stirring this around in its little cup, so it takes a lot of the alcohol out. Then I'm actually not going to put a lot on the brush, and using the tip of the brush, I'm going to start with the gesture of some palm fronds. So here, you'll see as I come down with this gesture, the frond starts to appear. Now I've got to clean out this little tip down here on the bottom because that's where it's going into a darker color. But here I have that end of the palm, and here I'm doing the same thing, pulling out with just a little gesture, clearing up the first one. On the other side, you'll have another palm frond coming down. Again, working with the gesture of the fronds and allowing the natural properties of the alcohol ink, which is to give you that little black line, to be part of the composition here of your piece, and clearing out when you have too many lines. Okay, now I'm going to take another one and I'm going to come over here. This one's probably just going to hang down at that level. You don't see necessarily both of the palm fronds. There's another palm frond here. Again, it's going to just... So when I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of the gesture of the trees. I'm going to put a palm frond right up toward the top, and again, using the same process. What you see is I kind of sometimes go twice in the same spot. The first time to clear off the blue that's underneath and mix it, and the second time to build the frond itself. Okay, and here I'm going to go right over this one and start another frond here. What I like about the alcohol inks is it just allows, here I can go, it cleans up part of the area in some ways, mixes the colors together, and then gives you a third color. So I'm trying to get the alcohol out of I had to add extra color, so I'm getting some alcohol out. You can test it and see, it's going a lot, it's blooming a lot more. It may need to dry out just a little bit. But I can also use that blooming a lot more in different places and just add some more depth to the piece. Here I'm going to do another palm frond. So coming from the edge out, going over, maybe this one's going to go over here too, and come off the top. I tend to put my trees off the top, mainly because when I do that, it looks more natural, and it's hard sometimes to get that one little frond in the very end to look natural. So here I go. I think that I'm going to put a little bit, I like everything that's happening there. I'm going to put a little bit more texture in here whoops, see the texture's coming up whiter than I want. And now I see that I need to add another color, and I think I'm going to actually go with a deeper green. I'm going to go with a little bit of a botanical, just to give it some shadows in the fronds. So, but first here I'm going back with a little bit of the limeade that I'm getting almost all of the alcohol out of, trying to get it to be very, very, very thin. And then I'm going to go into just a little bit of the botanical. I want to put some darks down here. It's somewhat challenging at times to get darks in something like this palm tree, but the center is going to be a little darker and the bottom brushes, and I'm still working with my color, trying to get it thick enough that it's going to work as a darker color. Here it is. You can see how it darkens down some of these inner fronds are going to end up a little darker, a little more realistic, I would say. Okay. And I can, if I want now, also go back into the lighter color and add some highlights to that darker so it doesn't look flat. Here I've added a little highlight. And again, when I'm doing this, it's all about the gesture. It's all about the motion of your brush. Okay, so I'm liking that. I think that now I need to put the actual trunk in, and I have to be fairly careful with the trunk because I don't want it to be too wide. I'm pulling this out with a little bit of just dry alcohol on an almost dry brush. Okay, so now I've established this trunk coming through, coming down onto the beach. There we go. And I'll take a color and use that in the trunk, and I'll probably take something a little on the purpley side, and I'll dull it down with some yellow. So this is a little bit some purple and some yellow together. I think it was Purple Twilight and there we go. And as the blue pulls in, see, the little blue can pull in from the water, and it'll give you a sense of shadow, and you can end up giving a little bit of definition to that. Now, it's obviously a bit too perfect right there up here. So they're also going to have some coconut fronds. So I'm taking that kind of brown color and adding a little bit up in there. And I'm going to go back to the green and pull a few fronds of the green right over the my trunk here. I might make this just a little darker. Give me some fronds here, some more depth. Clean this spot up just a little bit here. Okay, so there I have a palm tree. I could choose to put a second palm tree on, or I could just let it be. I think I'm going to let it be. I really I like palm trees to be coming from some colorful, I love the colors of the beaches. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab a piece of towel, paper towel, and I'm going to protect the top half of my painting here. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to take a couple different colors, probably a wild plum, and I'm going to think of like bougainvillea, or there's the colorful flowers that are on the beach. Again, I'm taking most of the alcohol out of the wild plum, and I'm not really heavily loading my brush. And thinking of the direction of the bougainvillea, I'm going to sprinkle some color on here. And I can even tap some color on in places if I want. Okay, I like that color. I'm going to let that dry just a little bit, and I'm going to add a little bit of maybe flamingo in it. Letting the flamingo dry a bit, the same way I did with the wild plum. And here I'm putting a second color in, letting it kind of become very, I think I need more up, some more up pieces. Okay, now I have some nice color in here. I'm thinking that I'm going to have to end up breaking that up a little bit. It's a little too solid, but as I continue to play with this here, I'm liking most of it. I'm going to end up again with this in the sky, and I'm going to try just a little bit of plain alcohol to break some of that up. Make it lighter. I also want some more texture on the beach, and then I'm going to go back in with the botanical. I'll just reconstitute the botanical I already have in there, and then come in here and put some of, maybe I need to put more botanical in. I'm going to take a little bit of the botanical, and I'm going to intersperse it a bit here with give it a little bit of foundation. As you can see, everything, the alcohol inks just go in the circle. So as I did this, I ended up really needing to stroke more than I need to do some strokes here if I want to make sure that it doesn't look like I'm doing circles. So here we go. Maybe even this is some sailboat blue in this to just give it some sense of there's lots of things happening here. Bougainvillea is very spiky. It spikes a lot. And it's also, you'll end up with it kind of grassy over here. Maybe I have a few more. Might want to darken some over in this area, adding a little bit of very dry sailboat blue. There we go. So now I've got a lot of nice color there. I like that. I've got a nice little beach here. I could choose to possibly, if I want, pull out a little white line right next to the where the water's coming in, if I want it to look a little more like there's a beachy area there. I like that dark line that kind of occurred there. I think I need just a few more tiny touches of the purple over in this area of the beach, maybe interspersed a little bit, not a lot, but just a little. And as per usual, if I do it without, if I do it by hand, I very rarely can get it random enough. So it really is better to just do a little bit of the splashing. There I go. Maybe splash a little right there. Okay. Trying to make sure I have no obvious holes in here. And now that I look at it, I think that the trunk needs to be darker. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the purple to the trunk. I'm liking that a little better. If I want, I could do something like add a little bit of, this is a little orange, giving it a little more of a brown color. I like that. And I probably need to add a moon of some sort or something over here. So I'm going to choose to do a moon. I'm going to take a little drop of alcohol, not a huge one. I'm going to get a clean area of my towel, and I'm going to take a little drop of alcohol. I'm going to put it right here, and as it forms, straight down and straight up for the moon. I like that. Now, I think I'll leave it. Thank you. Oops, have to put a sailboat in. If I put a sailboat in, they're literally going to break the horizon. So I'm going to put one sailboat in here, and I'm going to put a little sailboat in here. And I think I'll put one more sailboat over here. Okay, thanks.